I have on the phone nutritionist and author Lola Berry, and she's going to be chatting with us today about eating healthy when we're busy and travelling. Hello, Lola.
Hey guys, how you going?
Well, how are you doing?
Really good. I thought this would be a good one because all I've been is travelling and
Yes.
moving about and real busy lately, and I was just like, well, it takes a lot of work and, discipline to stay healthy.
It does. It's the time that slips, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's a very easy time to kind of just let it go a bit and go, oh, well, it's easy to kind of have excuses and go, oh, well, I didn't have access to good food. And even last night I got home from a shoot at 9 o'clock at night and I was running through Coles buying my chicken and my Brussels sprouts and my broccoli. So, I think the first thing to mention is in order to be healthy, while you're traveling, it does take a little bit of discipline. It's definitely not super, super easy. But once you know how good you feel, because think about it, when you travel, you want to be more on your A game. You've probably got to do a lot of things. You're busy, and you know what it's like. You feel good when you eat good food, right?
That's right. And when you're stressed and you're doing things, you want to feel as good as you can, don't you?
Exactly, because you bounce back fast, so you can get more stuff done in a day. So the trick is being prepared. So with me, I'll always pack my breakfast, so my oats I'll always have, and I know, Briony, you're onto the oats as well.
I love oats.
Yes, I'll always pack them, and all you really need to do, if you think about it, is just I soak them in a little bit of water, cinnamon and stevia, and there's a breakfast that tastes delicious. If I've got access to coconut oil, I might add coconut oil to it and boil the kettle and do like warm, creamy oats. But again, that's 2 ingredients. It's really easy and quick.
And that's really cheap too, because when you're staying at a hotel, to get the breakfast, it costs a fortune, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's a really good way to save money. Spot on. I didn't even think of that. The other thing that I always do is, and it's a bit sneaky, like you're actually not meant to do this when you travel interstate, but I do it every single time I travel, packing your own trail mix, your own nut pack, yeah? So raw nuts and seeds, and that way it's like all the things that you love that will sustain you, and it's going to be better than some, even some of those healthy muesli bars are full of junk too, so you want to be having real food that what's in as well. And then I'll always check out what area I'm staying in if I'm staying somewhere new. And I'm a bit of a nerd. Like I'll find the local, supermarket and health food store and just load up on all my favourite things and, buy teas and, fresh fruit and veggies that I've got a plethora of, really healthy options always ready to go.
That's right, and I know because I've got intolerances, and sometimes it can be kind of hard when you're travelling. And I'll go get like the Prima size almond milks or rice milks or whatever, and so I can pack them with me, so I can still go order, say, porridge at a hotel, but still be able to use my own milk.
Absolutely, and that again comes back to that, just that organisation, being disciplined, and because it doesn't take long if you just eat a little bit of. Like, you just let the diet slip a little bit for just like 2 or 3 days. You would know you feel like junk within I think within a day you just start feeling like you've been hit by a car. That real heaviness, and you just don't feel like you're clear and on your A game and sluggish. And then when you're in that kind of pattern, it becomes kind of harder to pull up because you're just like, oh, well, I've let that bit of, sugar in. And another thing to know is when you're stressed out and running around and busy, you naturally want to crave more carbohydrates. So when you're kind of not eating well, it's much easier to grab a chocolate bar and things like that. But it's actually the most important time to put your health first and be snacking on avocados and nuts and seeds. And, I always take tins of tuna and sardines with me when I travel as well because I know, well, if I can get my hands on a good salad or, some awesome veggies, I can just throw my little tin of tuna through it, and at least then I'm getting some good protein and fats in there.
No, I think that's a great tip. And I know when I travelled through Europe, I had nearly a suitcase full of snack bars and things that I knew I could eat, because it can be easy when you eat at a restaurant occasionally to, get something half decent, but when you're on the run with snacks, it can be really tricky.
Absolutely, and I think you hit the nail on the head saying a lot of people have got, serious food intolerances. I mean, 15% of the population in Australia has fructose malabsorption. Like, that's pretty massive. And that's not to mention we've got the gluten picture, we've got the dairy-free picture. So I think it's really important to just kind of really make a decision. And all it is a choice. You just make the choice to honour your health, and then you go, all right, well, I choose health, so I'm going to make it a priority. And then it doesn't become work. It just becomes the way that you like to live because you like to look after yourself.
That's true. It just becomes second nature, doesn't it? You don't really think about it.
Yeah, and you know what? Every time I see you, Barney, I'm sure today is no different. You're always glowing and you look phenomenal, and I think that's because you have made a choice probably a long time ago to just go, well, my health is a priority for me and my family. So
well, I don't get much of a choice because I get terrible stomach aches when I don't follow the diet. So I mean, I'm lucky in a way, and I'm unlucky in another way. But it keeps me healthy.
Lucky. I'm lucky. I've got to eat like a caveman, otherwise everything goes wrong.
Yeah. Well, we just had Tom Davison on, and he just talked about eating like a caveman.
Yeah, it's the way to eat. Yeah, and he's another great example of someone that walks and talks, you know, eating great, clean food, but also, like, everyone wants to look like him. He looks phenomenal, and that's as a result of eating a paleo-based diet and looking after your health and exercising in a primal way as well.
Well, that's true. If I can look as good as Tom, I'll maybe start taking up some of those tips.
I've got a question. How do we know that 15% of the population are fructose intolerant?
I had a meeting with my naturopath last week, and he's part of the fructose malabsorption group here in Australia, and he informed me of that statistic.
Wow. But is it likely, though, because so few people would get tested for that it's even higher?
Potentially, yes. Absolutely, that's definitely a potential. So I think it at the end of the day, it comes back to exactly what Briony was saying. Listen to your body, and if you're getting those, you know, cramps and stomach aches when you're eating your onion, your garlic, and, you know, some fruits, just go and get the test done. I think it's much better than a Wikipedia diagnosis, you know, so just get the test done. It's a simple breath test for fructose as well. So I think, yeah, at the end of the day, it still comes back to the key message, just honour your health and know that when you start eating clean, I swear it only takes 2 weeks and it's just no looking back.
That's true, and I know you actually can't look back, because I know a few people that eat a lot healthier now, and then they say, oh my gosh, I can't even, you know, eat that little thing anymore, and they kind of get annoyed about it. But I just sort of say to them that you are more sensitive to it because you actually know what good feels like now.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, and that's what got me into health. I had no idea how good I could feel. I had no idea how white my eyes could be. I had no idea how good my sleep could be. You know, how I could run faster, how I could do yoga better. Like, you don't realise how good it is until you're there and you're living it and you're in it. And it takes, you know, and all it takes is a little taste. I say to people, first 4 days of going real clean is just gross. Like, you're craving all kinds of things, and you just want your coffee and your sugar, you know, your refined carbohydrates. That's normal. But at the end of the day, if you can just go, I'm choosing to put me first, honouring myself and my body, then everything falls into place.
No, I think that's good. And what about exercise when you're travelling? Have you got any tips for that?
There's so many cool things you can do in exercise. My tip would be just pack your runners, and I explore. So I'll go for nature walks, I'll go for little runs. Always try and find a set of stairs and do some interval training. So I'll run up and down the stairs a few times. I'll always check out a local yoga studio. One of my best yoga experiences was doing it on a volcano in Hawaii, you know, like, and just doing a class there. And so I think figure out the exercise that you like. And if you're not an exercise person, do cool adventures, like discover new things, swim in the ocean, get out, be active. I think that's, you know, really a good way to stay physical without even realising it. Like, my friend just got back from New York, and he said, Lols, I didn't even go to the gym once, but I was just walking everywhere, so I didn't put any weight on. He said I was eating a lot. So I think, you know, if you just, the other thing is, remember, cortisol is much lower when you're travelling on a holiday too, because you're not stressed out. So you're naturally not going to be stressed, so you're not going to hold on to fluid and weight as easily as you would if you just, you know, in the rat race.
Yeah, I think a lot of people lose weight when they're on holidays, especially I think because of all the walking they do that they don't normally do at home.
Absolutely, I don't walk enough. I would love to walk more, and I get into this like busy pattern where I will drive to my yoga studio where I could easily walk there.
And get the closest park possible.
Exactly. Well, in Sydney at the moment it's pelting down, so you drive whenever you can. But I think walking is key. I mean, they say to get rid of cellulite, you want to walk as opposed to run.
I didn't know that one.
Yeah, more effective. So, yeah, walking is key. But when you're on holiday, I think as well, don't beat yourself up if you don't join a gym or you're not in the gym, you know, at your hotel. Just try and go on adventures, have fun, get out in the sun, get the vitamin D up, you know.
Well, I think there's some great advice for people who are very busy in travelling, Lola.